Max, who got the better of the deal?
The Celtics won the trade, as I told you originally, because Kyrie Irving is the best player in the deal. And the history of the NBA has taught us that the winner of the trade is the team that has the best player in the deal. That said, the Cavs got a haul, and they made inroads against the Warriors. There's no question about it. This was the best deal on the table for the Cavs. But then also consider that ultimately the Cavs did juice the Celtics for an additional pick. It was a second-round pick. It was the kind of least compensation they could have gotten. Nevertheless, they did get additional compensation, which means that Isaiah Thomas may truly be compromised, right? Because they did get the compensation. So if you have a diminished Isaiah Thomas, especially, then I think that indicates further that the Celtics got the best player in the deal. I will also say that the Cavs' track record as an organization is a very, very, very poor one. In fact, so bad that once LeBron James left town, they basically picked first every single year. And so, obviously taking LeBron James with the number one pick is nothing. Anyone would have done that. Kyrie also was the presumptive number one pick, as was Wiggins. When there wasn't a presumptive number one pick, they took Anthony Bennett. Where are the second-round picks that have really panned out on the Cavs, right? Like, Crowder was a second-round pick. Isaiah was a second-round pick. They're getting that from another team. But for them to pick up an additional second-round pick in their hands, it means nothing likely. Likely that player won't pan out based on the Cavs' history. So when you add it all up, the Celtics get the best player in the deal. The Cavs could be getting a compromised Isaiah, and in exchange for that, they get a pick that they're likely not to do not much with. And though they've made inroads on the Warriors, they ain't good enough to beat them. So my analysis remains the same. If anything, it's strengthened that the Celtics won this trade.
I gotta admit, man, let me tell you something right now. I made a mistake dancing with the Jabberwockies. I should have danced with you. I can't tell whether you're Fred Astaire, Michael Jackson, or Prince the way you dance around. 1 minute it's the Boston Celtics get the best player in the deal, but the Cavs obviously fleeced them. But at the same time, the Cavs organization is awful, but they did a good job here and all of this other stuff. You're all over the place. Here's the bottom line. Here's the bottom line. The Boston, I feel you. Here's the bottom line. The Boston Celtics got the best player. Cleveland got the best deal. Cleveland got the best deal because the discrepancy between Kyrie Irving and a healthy Isaiah Thomas is not that great. Then you combine that with the fact that Jay Crowder can ball. Then you combine that with the fact that you may get a pick that ends up number one overall, and then all of a sudden you also get them to add a second-round pick, albeit in the year 2020. I think you look at the collection of bodies, the fact that the deal essentially ensures that the Cleveland Cavaliers have not one, but basically two starting lineups essentially on the roster. Not only do I look at it as Cleveland getting the better deal per se, even though Boston clearly didn't get a bad deal because they got the best player. Cleveland got the best deal. They made the best deal, and in the end, it buffers them significantly as far as I'm concerned because they've added depth that they didn't necessarily have this past season or before that. And as a result, even though Golden State is still the favorite, it puts them in better position to compete for a championship. They got the better deal here, even if Boston got the best player, because there's not that great of a discrepancy between Kyrie and Isaiah Thomas.
You're answering a different question. If you're answering who improved their team in the short run more, or who made a higher leverage move, that would be the Cavs. The Cavs improved their team with this trade. I'm not denying that. Also, they're in a position where they're really trying to get over the Warriors hump, and so every little incremental inroads they can make into the Warriors' superiority, that's really good for them. They did that too. I'm not denying that. The Cavs also got by far the best deal they could have gotten for Kyrie.
That's my point. You ain't denying anything.
Kyrie wanted out of town, and in fact, when you looked at what the Milwaukee Bucks were offering, for example, Chris Middleton and Brogdon, it was not nearly the deal that they were going to get from the Celtics. So the Cavs also got the best deal available to them, but that doesn't mean they won the trade. The trade was won by the team that got the best player, as it almost always is, and the best player is Kyrie, particularly when you consider that Isaiah may be compromised, which is why they got the additional second-round pick. Also consider, neither one is a defender. Kyrie's not a defender, neither is Isaiah. But Kyrie
making my
is
point.
bigger
Keep
than
going.
Isaiah and therefore capable of playing defense and frequently saves those moments where he'll play defense for very high leverage situations. Whereas Isaiah, throughout the playoffs, must be hidden. And you're basically playing 5-on-4, which is one of the reasons, though he's my favorite player, he and Westbrook, Isaiah is, one of the reasons why they sometimes did better in the
now he's your
playoffs this
favorite
year when
player.
Isaiah
Max.
wasn't on the floor.
Max,
So now
Zizic
he's
isn't
your
the best
favorite
player in the
player,
trade?
too.
He is the best.
Anything's
Go-
your favorite
goes-
player.
goes-
He's great. He's
hey.
averaging 29 a game, but there's a discrepancy. But he doesn't play defense the way Kyrie doesn't play defense. You all over the place. Here's the deal.
No, I mean,
Kyrie
what place?
Irving.
I don't know why
Kyrie
this is
Irving-
confusing for you.
Well, it's always, everything is confusing when it comes to you because I can't tell what your position is. Kyrie Irving is here. He's better than Isaiah Thomas, but it's not that great of a discrepancy. You've been on a record, Max, acknowledging that Jay Crowder is not somebody to be underestimated. Oh, by the way, Max, this isn't the equivalent of a Carmelo Anthony being traded for a Ryan Anderson. The discrepancy between Isaiah Thomas and Kyrie Irving is not that great. So when you combine that with the fact that that's all that Boston got, but in Cleveland's case, they got Crowder, they got Zizic, they got a #1 pick, they got a second-round pick now. It is clear that Cleveland ultimately won. They got the better trade.
You were the
That's
one.
all I'm saying.